If you've been wanting to get into professions and you decide that you're going to do tailoring, then this video is going to do a brief introduction to what you need to know about that profession itself. Let's jump into it. Okay, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into the game and go over everything. Okay, here are the specializations for tailoring. We've got Threads of Devotion, From Dawn Until Dusk, Quality Fabric, and Textile Treasures. Now, before I go into all of this, I think it's really important to have a good understanding of how the profession system works. And if you don't have a good understanding about how it all works, then go ahead and check out the video that's being tagged right above over here. That'll bring you to my Professions 101 video, and I'll teach you everything you need to know. When I go over this stuff, there may be some terms or some things I might say that may not make sense unless you understand how the new profession system works. Okay, so starting off with Threads of Devotion, this is basically your armor making specialization. Everything that's related to cloth is all right here. You start off with Threads of Devotion. This is really good to get ranked up because you're going to increase your skill points for when you're crafting on everything just by ranking up Threads of Devotion. After that, you can branch out and you can go either weathering wear, weighted garments, or making a statement. Each one of these three specializations has a sub-specialization. With weathering wear, you're going to be focusing on gloves, footwear, hats, and cloaks. With weighted garments, you're going to be focusing on robes and leggings. And with making a statement, you're going to be focusing on belts, armbands, and mantles. Now, when you do unlock these sub-specializations, like gloves, for example, you automatically learn the recipe for that particular item that you're making. In this example, it's consecrated gloves. And if you specialize in making gloves, and let's say you get all the way up to rank 20, that means your skill level for making gloves is going to be higher when you're crafting. And that's basically all that does. The middle nodes here are going to be focusing on giving you skill points to all of your sub-specializations within that section. So weathering wear is going to give you skill points for making gloves, footwear, hats, and cloaks. While putting knowledge points into these sub-specializations are going to give you skill points for those specific items when you're crafting those. You can do this however you want, but I decided that I wanted to max out Threads of Devotion, and then I wanted to start maxing out all of the three specializations that you can go into after that. Once I get those three done, then I'll be focusing on where I want to go within these sub-specializations, if that's what you want to call them. Now, moving on to From Dawn Until Dusk. This specialization is focusing on the two different kind of bolts you can make. You can make dawn weave bolts, and you can make dusk weave bolts. Each of these bolts are needed to make certain pieces of gear, and making these bolts has a cooldown associated with it. So you can't just make a whole bunch of them in one go. The original node, From Dawn Until Dusk, will focus on giving you skill points when you're creating either or of the bolts. And also in the original node, you'll be able to learn the Dawn Weave Regent bag and also the Dusk Weave bag. Once you move down into Dawn Weave Tailoring or Dusk Weave Tailoring, putting points into each of these nodes are going to increase your skill level when crafting these bolts. And they're also going to teach you different recipes that you can craft as you put more points into them. For example, Dusk Weave Tailoring, you're going to be able to learn the Gloves of the Woven Dusk, and then later on you can learn Sunset Spell Thread. The last two nodes are going to help you with the cooldown of their respective bolts, so that you'll be able to make more at a faster rate. Moving on to Quality Fabric, the original node here is going to help you increase your skill level with the sub-specializations within this area, and also when you begin maxing out Quality Fabric, later on Cloth from Humanoids are going to be able to drop Tier 2 quality cloth, and then at the very end Tier 3. If you decide to go with additional embroidery, you're going to be able to learn how to do embroidery threads. And this one's called Preserving Embroidery Thread. It's a finishing crafting reagent. And it's going to increase the reagent saved from resourcefulness by 12%. So really nice if you're going to be doing a lot of reagent crafting. The middle one is Spell Thread, and this is going to be focusing on the items that you can use to put onto leggings. And this is going to permanently increase your intellect by 479 or even more depending on the quality that you make. And since people are getting new gear all the time, this could be something you might want to focus on to make a lot of gold in the auction house. And then the last one is Weaving and Unraveling, and this is going to increase your skill level when you're making threads from weaver cloth. The nice thing also in this is that these different milestones are going to give you more resourcefulness, so you could get a kickback every time you're making some thread. So right here we're looking at the production of a lot of things you could sell in the auction house and provide to the WoW community, as opposed to more specific gear that were in the last two specializations. The last one is Textile Treasures, and putting points into this specialization is going to increase your skill level for anything you're doing with tailoring, and it's going to help you collect cloth from humanoids more efficiently. The nice thing about this one is that you're going to be able to find weaver cloth bolts from humanoids, instead of just finding the weaver cloth that you would use to make the threads that would be used to make the weaver cloth bolts. This is pretty big if you're trying to make a lot of gold in the auction house, because you're skipping a lot of steps and you're going right into crafting the stuff that you're going to sell, or the stuff you're going to disenchant with your enchanter. Now, the 3 sub-specializations are kind of like the thing that you would find in the Everburning Forge with blacksmithing. This one's going to focus on your ingenuity, which is linked to your concentration, and this one's called the perfect loop. Extra threads is going to work on your resourcefulness, and then less is more is obviously going to work on your multi-crafting. And that's basically it. It's a pretty unique profession. It's not super different than all the other ones, but it's got its little things in there that make it pretty unique. I hope this video helped you guys out a lot, and if you really liked it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm making a ton of World of Warcraft content these days. Also, make sure to drop in my Discord and check out my Twitch stream. I'm doing a lot of Twitch streaming in the gym here at home in the mornings, and then I transition into gaming in the afternoon. And if you guys find a lot of value in these videos and want to support the content that I'm making, then go ahead and check out my membership options here on YouTube. Or if you want to support me through subbing on Twitch, you can do that as well. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic time with the expansion and working with professions, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.